It was an ordinary Wednesday afternoon, the kind where the sun streamed through the window and the world outside hummed with life. I had just placed my coffee mug on the desk, the familiar warmth cradled in my hands, and was sinking into the embrace of my well-loved chair when the call arrived. A strange number danced across my phone screen, its presence urgent and demanding attention. A sensation coiled within me, a premonition stirring in the depths of my being, even before I uttered a word. "Greetings, might I be speaking with Emily Carter?" The voice from the other side inquired. "Indeed," I answered with a hint of hesitation. Once upon a time, there was a man named Charles who hailed from the esteemed Liberty National Bank. Once upon a time, a tale unfolded about a mortgage balance that had lingered beyond its due date, amounting to a significant sum of $523,000. We have dispatched numerous messages, yet the meanings seemed to fade away into the ether. Ah, the tale of the mortgage, a journey many embark upon in the quest for a home. It is a story woven with dreams, numbers, and the promise of a place to call one's own. $523,000? Once upon a time, I found myself without a home to call my own. Once upon a time, I found myself without the gleam of a new car in my possession. "You must have the wrong person," I uttered, my voice trembling even as I tried to maintain an air of composure. "Dear lady, the records we possess reveal your complete name, the day you were born, and your social security number. 3 years ago, a loan was taken out, and you stand as the primary borrower in this tale of financial commitment." Once upon a time, 3 years passed, a moment arrived that made my heart plummet into the depths of uncertainty. It was during those days when my younger sister Jessica began to dream aloud of a grander abode, a place that danced just beyond her reach, shimmering with the allure of possibilities she could not yet grasp. There I was, a statue in my own realm, as the gentle hum of the computer fan wove through the stillness, creating a symphony of solitude. As I sat there, my thoughts began to swirl like leaves caught in a brisk autumn wind, sifting through a treasure trove of memories I had long forgotten existed. At family gatherings, Jessica would unveil her vibrant Pinterest boards, each one a tapestry of inspiration and creativity, captivating everyone around the table. My parents spoke with such warmth and enthusiasm, proclaiming that Jessica truly deserves nothing but the finest in life. In the heart of our home, we come together, each of us playing our part in the beautiful tapestry of family life. But shall we join in like this? Once the call with the bank came to an end, a promise lingering in the air to revisit the matter, I found myself struggling for breath. With a heavy heart, I pressed my palms firmly against my eyes, seeking solace in the darkness. In that moment, my humble one-bedroom apartment seemed to shrink around me, as if the very walls were closing in, enveloping me in a tight embrace of confinement. Surely, there was some kind of error in the air, a twist of fate that had led to this moment. There must have been. With a sense of urgency, I delved into the depths of my drawers, sifting through a trove of forgotten documents. Each piece of paper held the weight of my hopes, as I fervently searched for a clue that might exonerate me from the shadows of doubt. Yet, beneath the surface, the chilling tendrils of betrayal had already started to entwine themselves around my very core. For if it were not a mere blunder, then there could be but one reason to consider. In the quiet moments of reflection, I found myself pondering the words of my parents, who often bestowed upon me the title of the responsible one. There was a figure, steadfast and resolute, who walked through life with a quiet strength, never seeking assistance nor drawing attention to their struggles. In the midst of it all, Jessica danced through a series of poor choices, wrapped in the soft embrace of her mother's murmured justifications and her father's weary exhalations. From the very beginning, it had always been that way. In the tapestry of my family, I found myself woven into the background, a figure both useful and dependable, yet often unseen, like a whisper in a bustling room. With a gentle sigh, I leaned my forehead against the cool, sturdy wood of my desk, feeling the weight of the world momentarily lift as I sought solace in its embrace. Though tears threatened to spill from my eyes, I stood resolute, determined to keep them at bay. Not just yet. This tale was woven with threads far more intricate than mere currency. In the heart of every tale, there lies a thread woven from the essence of trust. It was as if my future, my very existence, was merely a piece of paper they could sign away without a second thought, without so much as a whisper of warning. Once more, my phone vibrated, heralding a message from my mother. "Greetings, my dear. I trust your week is unfolding beautifully." On a warm Sunday evening, the family gathered around the table for a delightful dinner. Once upon a time, a family gathered around the table for a delightful dinner. As if all was as it should be. But there it was, my name, forever linked to a burden of $500,000, a debt I never agreed to bear. A bitter taste lingered in my mouth, like a shadow of something once sweet. With a swift motion, I crafted my reply, a simple affirmation, and pressed the send button, letting the words take flight. In the quiet moments before the storm of accusations and the clash of voices, there lay a deep yearning within me, a yearning to uncover the entire truth, unblemished and clear. And in that moment of discovery, I would choose with great care the volume of my reply, whether to let it echo loudly or to let it drift away in silence. And within the depths of my soul, a vow was forged, whispering that this time I would not linger in the shadows of invisibility. As dawn broke, casting a gentle light through the window, I found myself at the kitchen table, weary from a night spent gazing at the intricate patterns of the ceiling above. A steaming cup of coffee sat beside me, untouched, as I hunched over, lost in thought. There it lay, my laptop aglow, a myriad of tabs sprouting like wildflowers in a forgotten garden. Each one whispered tales of mortgage fraud, forged signatures, the wisdom of legal advice blogs, and the ominous warning signs of identity theft lurking in the shadows. Yet nothing could have truly readied me for the sight that awaited me. Once more, I found myself reaching out to the bank, seeking a copy of the elusive mortgage documents. With a voice as smooth as silk and a demeanor that felt almost rehearsed, the woman on the line swiftly sent them the emails, her efficiency almost enchanting as it unfolded within mere minutes. As the PDF unfurled before my eyes, a gasp escaped my lips, caught in the web of anticipation. Before me lay a tapestry of pages, each one adorned with my name, my details, and the mark of my signature, weaving together a story that was unmistakably mine. Yet it was not meant for me. It appeared so similar that an unsuspecting observer might easily overlook the difference. Yet I was intimately familiar with each graceful curve of my true signature, every subtle quiver that danced through my hand. This one seemed almost too flawless, as if it had been meticulously crafted and practiced time and again. It was as if one were gazing into a fractured reflection where the truth danced in shards of light and shadow. With a keen eye, I leaned closer, examining the angled curves, the bold sweep of the tail on the pristine white, and the way Carter was inscribed, just a touch too perfectly, as if it held a secret of its own. As I stood there, a quiver began to dance through my hands. How could they possibly embark on such a path? How could it be that my very own parents? As I stood there, the ground beneath my feet began to sway and tremble, as if it were alive and responding to some unseen force. With a firm grip on the edge of the table, I anchored myself in the moment. With each turn of the page, my heart raced faster, thumping in rhythm with the unfolding story of loan terms, the scrawled initials in the margins, and the weight of every signature that marked a moment in time. It felt as though I was witnessing a theft unfold before my very eyes, each moment stretching out like a drawn-out dream, where time itself seemed to conspire against me. And the most disheartening truth was, they had not even considered that I was worthy of a warning. In the quiet corners of my mind, I wandered back to every family holiday, where Jessica basked in the glow of adoration, treated like royalty, while I stood on the sidelines, a silent spectator, forced to smile and clap, my heart heavy with unspoken tales. Each time I took the initiative to cover the bill, I would say, "You're in a better place now, my dear." Progress has been made, and the journey continues to unfold. As I stood in my small kitchen, it felt as though the very walls were inching closer, wrapping around me like a tightening embrace. As I shut my eyes, I could feel the tempest swirling within me, a wild dance of emotions and thoughts. Not a single tear fell. Not just yet. There lingered a deepening void, an ache that seemed to expand endlessly within. In the quiet shadows, the betrayal unfolded, subtle and unassuming. It arrived quietly, without the echoes of screams or the forceful thud of doors being slammed. In the stillness, there was a sharpness, akin to a scalpel gliding effortlessly beneath the surface of the skin. In the quiet corners of my life, I began to collect every fragment of paper that linked me to them in matters of finance. Amidst the dusty archives of time, there lay old bank statements, credit reports, and even birthday cards that held whispers of laughter, where they playfully celebrated the responsible daughter. In the realm of truth, there lies a tapestry woven with threads of evidence. At that moment, uncertainty lingered in the air, for I had yet to uncover the purpose that awaited me. Yet, deep within, I understood the necessity of safeguarding my own being. As the hours dragged on, memories flickered in my mind like a relentless film, each frame more haunting than the last. Jessica, with a gleam in her eye, proudly unveiled her new car, a striking contrast to the recent chapter of her life where college had slipped through her fingers. My mother looked at me with a knowing smile and said, "You are the strong one, Emmy. Jess finds herself in need of something more, a touch of the extraordinary to brighten her day." As I stood there, clad in my cap and gown, the echoes of the ceremony filled the air, yet my heart felt a twinge of solitude. In that moment, my father approached, a gentle smile gracing his face. With a tender hand, he patted my head, a gesture reminiscent of affection, as if to say, "You did it, my child." Though the seats around me remained empty, his presence was a warm reminder that I was never truly alone on this journey. From the very beginning, it was as if they had woven a tapestry of expectations around me, each thread heavy with the burden of their hopes and dreams, leaving me to bear the weight alone. To be the safety net that caught Jessica as she tumbled through the air. On this occasion, they had not even taken the time to inquire. In a moment that felt like a turning point, they inscribed my destiny upon a piece of paper, believing I would remain silent, never daring to rise against their decision. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow through the window, a tidy stack of documents found its home on the kitchen table, waiting patiently for the next chapter to unfold. In the quiet corners of my heart, a promise was made, whispered softly to the winds of my thoughts. The girl who had once twisted and turned, striving to embody the ideal daughter, had vanished into the shadows of the past. In that moment of uncertainty, as I stood at the crossroads of my own existence, a single truth illuminated my path. There would come a time when the silence would break, and my voice would rise like a phoenix from the ashes. Sunday arrived with the swiftness of a fleeting shadow, catching us unawares. There I stood, before the familiar facade of my parents' home, the very place that cradled my childhood, gazing at the door as if it were the threshold to a grand courtroom, filled with memories and echoes of the past. There was a whisper within me, urging me to look back, to weave a tale where none of this had ever transpired, to remain the unseen daughter, quietly navigating life without stirring the waters. Yet, there was another facet, one they were blissfully unaware of having forged, that fortified my resolve. I rapped upon the door once, then twice, the sound echoing in the stillness of the night. The door creaked open, revealing my mother, her face aglow with a radiant smile as if the world around her was painted in hues of perfection. "Ah, Emmy, how delightful it is to see you here, my dear. My dear one." As I crossed the threshold, a world of possibilities unfolded before me. The comforting aroma of pot roast mingled with the sharp scent of lemon cleaner enveloped me, whisking me away to a treasure trove of childhood memories, each one vivid and alive. At that moment, an emptiness washed over them, a profound sense of hollowness that echoed in their very souls. In the cozy embrace of the living room, Dad sat, his gaze flickering between the screen and the world around him. A football game played out before him, the cheers and gasps of the crowd filling the air, while a cold beer perched precariously on the armrest, waiting for its moment to be savored. In a cozy corner of her living room, Jessica nestled into the embrace of the couch, her fingers dancing over the screen of her phone. Nearby, her luxurious purse lay abandoned, a testament to her carefree spirit. Not a single one of them cast a proper glance in my direction. I settled into my seat, a hush enveloping me as my heart thudded with such intensity that it seemed the very walls might tremble in response. In the stillness of the moment, I found myself waiting. Allow them to settle in and find their ease. Allow them to unveil their true selves. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the table, dinner was served, much like any other Sunday, with the familiar scents wafting through the air and the comforting chatter of family filling the room. In the air, a melody of laughter danced, weaving through the hearts of those gathered, a sound that sparkled like sunlight on a gentle stream. Once upon a time, in a world filled with whispers and echoes, there existed a delightful sound known as chatter. It danced through the air, weaving tales of joy and connection among those who paused to listen. Jessica lamented the steep costs of landscaping, her voice tinged with frustration as she recounted the burdensome expenses that had come to weigh heavily on her shoulders. Ah, the vast expanse of the yard, sprawling and seemingly endless, a canvas of green that stretches far and wide. Father's deep grumbles echoed through the room as he watched the game unfold before him. In a world where stars twinkled with admiration, there was a mother who cherished her daughter, Jessica, as if she had cast the very moon into the night sky. At last, when the plates had been set aside, I found my voice. Once, I found myself in a moment of contemplation, and with a voice that was both soft and unwavering, I posed a question that lingered in the air. 3 pairs of eyes shifted in my direction, a flicker of curiosity dancing within them, as if I were on the brink of inquiring whether they had caught sight of my elusive scarf. Is there anyone who might hold the key to the mystery of a mortgage bearing my name? In the stillness of the moment, a profound silence enveloped the air. In that moment, a heavy silence enveloped the room, so profound that the rhythmic ticking of the wall clock echoed like a thunderous drumbeat. In the unfolding tale, it was Jessica who took the first step, her instincts guiding her in that pivotal moment. With a subtle movement, she tugged at her sleeves, a flicker of unease dancing in her demeanor. Mom's smile wavered, a fleeting shadow crossing her face. With a raspy sound, Dad brought his hand to his mouth, a cough escaping him like a whisper of the wind. My face remained a tranquil mask, devoid of any discernible emotion. My voice remained calm, steady, and unwavering. I made no accusations. In that moment, I found myself in a stillness, a quiet pause where time seemed to stretch endlessly before me. I simply waited. It was Mom who first let the dam of her emotions burst forth. "My dear," she began, leaning forward across the table as if we were merely chatting about the day's forecast. "It's merely a small matter, nothing to fret over. It is the essence of family." In a world where dreams of homeownership danced just out of reach, Jessica found herself at a crossroads, seeking a guiding hand to help her navigate the path to qualifying for her loan. And so, we reach the end of our tale. It seems as though you're not truly parting with any coins, is it not? It was but a fleeting moment, hardly worth a second thought. With a tone that held a hint of defiance, Jessica interjected into the conversation. "Ah, dear friend, It seems you possess the treasure of good credit, a valuable asset in the realm of finance. In truth, I do not. It seems unjust that you chose not to lend a hand. But it is merely a collection of pages, a tapestry of ink and thoughts woven together, isn't it? Just paperwork, you say, yet within those sheets lies the essence of decisions made and futures shaped. Merely a collection of documents. I reclined in my chair, allowing the words to drift and settle around me, much like the remnants of a fire's embers. In their minds, there was no shadow of doubt. They believed their actions were perfectly justified. In the depths of their minds, they wove a tale where everything felt just right, where I stood as the villain for daring to feel the weight of my own sorrow. With a measured nod, I maintained a facade of calm, my expression a carefully crafted mask. With a soft voice, I expressed my gratitude. Thank you for explaining. With a casual shrug, Jessica reached for her phone once more, as though the conversation had come to a definitive end. Mom radiated joy, as if she had just calmed a whimsical storm of emotions. With a flick of his wrist, Dad shifted his focus back to the game, the excitement of the moment drawing him in once more. Unbeknownst to them, a tempest was gathering just beyond the serene facade of my gaze. In their minds, they held onto the image of the old Emily, as if she were still perched in her familiar spot, a silent guardian of memories past. Little did they know the true tempest lay in wait, ready to strike when they least anticipated. It would creep in quietly until the moment it unleashed its fury. As the wheels turned beneath me, the journey home transformed into a hazy dream where the world outside slipped away into a soft, indistinct fog. The streetlights danced and flickered across the windshield, yet they seemed to fade into the background of my thoughts. With a firm grasp, my hands clutched the steering wheel, the tension palpable in the air. In the stillness of the car, a gentle hum arose, the tires whispering against the pavement, weaving a quiet melody that filled the air. Yet within those walls, a symphony of sounds unfolded, vibrant and alive. Their words danced in my mind, circling endlessly like a merciless carousel. But what is it, really, but a collection of words and symbols? A tapestry woven from the threads of bureaucracy, waiting to be unraveled and understood. It's merely a small matter, nothing to fret over. In the tapestry of life, it is the bonds of family that weave the strongest threads, supporting one another through thick and thin. In the quiet corners of my mind, I reflected on each and every sacrifice I had willingly embraced. In moments when the weight of disappointment pressed upon my heart, I chose to swallow it down, all in the name of harmony. Each time I found myself gathering the remnants of Jessica's chaos in the shadows. And for what purpose, you may wonder? Could it truly be that they could bind me to a staggering $523,000 debt without so much as a single phone call? As I rolled into my driveway, I found myself lingering, gazing at the shadowy silhouette of my humble abode. For what felt like an eternity, I remained still, caught in the grip of time. As the shadows of betrayal wrapped around me, I felt its weight sink deeper into my very being. A wound smoldered within me, one I understood would never truly mend. Yet, amidst the unfolding tale, another revelation dawned upon me. At long last, the moment had arrived when they set me free. It was not a decision made willingly, not through the words of regret. Yet, as I peeled back the layers of every cherished illusion I had held dear regarding their true selves and the essence of family, I found myself standing in stark reality. All that once stood guard had vanished into the shadows, leaving behind an emptiness that echoed through the silence. In a world devoid of affection, one could only wish for the tides of fate to turn and mend what was broken. They had etched a boundary in the sands of time. At this moment, I found myself at a crossroads, pondering the path I would choose to walk upon. As I stepped inside, I slipped into my comfiest, well-worn sweatshirt, the fabric soft against my skin. With a sense of familiarity, I opened my laptop once more, ready to dive into the world that awaited me on the screen. This time, I chose to forge my own path, unearthing my own wisdom without the guidance of others. In the depths of my quest, I sought the elusive answers that danced just beyond my reach. In the realm of challenges, there lie the answers waiting to be discovered. In a world where the intricate dance of finance and law intertwines, there exist those skilled in the art of navigating the shadows of mortgage fraud. These legal warriors, with their keen eyes and sharp minds, dedicate their craft to uncovering the truth hidden beneath layers of deception. Stories of seeking justice against those we hold dear. Once upon a time, in a world where shadows of deceit lurked, there lay a path for those seeking to reclaim their name from the clutches of a fraudulent loan. The journey began with a careful gathering of evidence, each document a piece of the puzzle. Next, brave souls would venture forth to contact the lenders, armed with their truth and determination. With each step, they would weave their story, seeking justice and the restoration of their good name. And so, the quest to remove the stain of dishonesty from their lives unfolded, a tale of resilience and hope. In that moment, the world seemed to take on a chill, its edges more defined, as if the very air around us had turned to ice. Yet, after what seemed like an eternity, a spark ignited within me, and for the first time in ages, I truly felt alive. As the moon hung high in the sky, I found myself lost in the pages of a book, the hours slipping away unnoticed. With each turn of the page, I scribbled notes and sketched out my thoughts, weaving together a tapestry of ideas that danced in the dim light of my room. Had they anticipated that I would simply surrender and weep over the matter, they were sorely mistaken about my true nature. In that moment, I made a silent vow to myself. I would not let out a single cry. In that moment, I chose not to unleash my frustrations or seek out the elusive words of remorse that would likely remain unspoken. In a moment of reflection, I resolved to embrace a path of greater wisdom. In a hushed whisper, the world around grew still, more perilous than ever. In the quiet corners of my mind, I reflected on each instance that had cast a shadow over my spirit, moments that had left me feeling diminutive and unseen. With a wave of her hand and a distant gaze, my mother dismissed my college acceptance, her voice trailing off into a distracted, "That's nice, honey." My father erupted in laughter when I shared the news of my hard-earned promotion, a triumph achieved all on my own. Jessica wore a sneer, a playful twist of her lips that hinted at mischief and intrigue. Not everyone possesses the same perfection as you do. In the grand tapestry of life, I found myself woven with imperfections. In the midst of life's trials, I found myself merely enduring the days. They bore the burden of what was carelessly discarded, a weight that lingered long after it was forgotten. And so it was in that moment I resolved to bear my own burden. And I would witness their downfall as they fell beneath the weight of the very blame they sought to cast upon me. As the clock chimed the hour of 2 a.m., I gently closed the laptop and leaned back, allowing the stillness of the night to envelop me. A wave of exhaustion swept over me, enveloping my very being. But it wasn't the hopeless exhaustion I'd felt before. This time, it was the heavy calm of someone who had made a decision. I would break the chains that bind me. In the depths of my heart, a fierce determination stirs, for I shall guard the promise of what lies ahead. And as the truth dawned upon them, the sands of time would have slipped through their fingers, leaving them with naught but the weight of their own folly. There are lessons in life that come without a price tag, whispering their wisdom freely to those who are willing to listen. There are lessons in life that demand the very essence of our being. In that moment, they stood on the precipice of revelation, ready to discover the profound distinction that awaited them. As dawn broke, I found myself awakening to a sense of clarity that had eluded me for years. In a curious twist of fate, betrayal, when fully unveiled, had the power to hone the mind, transforming what could have been a shattering experience into a moment of clarity. With a deep breath, I picked up the phone and reached out to my boss, sharing that today was a day I needed just for myself. She remained silent, her curiosity tucked away like a secret in the shadows. It seemed to me that she caught a different note in my voice. In the stillness of the moment, there lingered a sense of quiet finality, a presence so profound that it seemed to hush the very air around, leaving no room for the trivialities of small talk. In the heart of the bustling city, my journey began at a quaint little coffee shop, nestled just a stone's throw from downtown. In a serene corner of the world, nestled between the vibrant blooms of a florist and the whispered tales of a bookstore, there lay a hidden gem of tranquility. In a realm where whispers danced through the air, there existed a sanctuary, a hidden nook where secrets could be shared freely, unburdened by the weight of curious ears. Here, the shadows held their breath, allowing confidences to flow like a gentle stream, unnoticed and unjudged. In a quiet corner of the bustling cafe, I found myself cradling a cup of bitter black coffee, the rich aroma swirling around me as I awaited my appointment. As the clock struck 9 a.m., he made his entrance. Once upon a time, there was a figure known as Mr. Warner. Once upon a time, in a world where property dreams were woven into the fabric of life, a wise friend spoke of a guardian of real estate, a skilled attorney whose expertise could illuminate the path to homeownership. This recommendation, like a guiding star, promised to lead the way through the intricate maze of real estate dealings. In the shadows, there exists a figure, one who embodies the art of discretion and wields ruthlessness like a finely honed blade, ready to strike when the moment demands it. He was a seasoned soul, his keen gaze reflecting the wisdom of countless family skirmishes endured. The air around him crackled with a resolute spirit, unyielding and unfazed by yet another clash in the saga of familial strife. With a steady hand, I presented him the collection of papers I had meticulously assembled. There they lay, the mortgage documents boldly bearing my name, the stern letters from the bank echoing their demands for payment, and my credit report, a stark testament to the toll it had endured. Mr. Warner turned the pages of the stack with a careful hand, his eyebrows knitting together in thought. As he concluded his task, he gently placed the papers aside and fixed his gaze upon me with unwavering intensity. "Do you grasp the significance of this, my friend?" he inquired. With a gentle inclination of my head, I acknowledged the moment. In a shadowy corner of the world, they wove a tale of deceit, engaging in acts that would be deemed fraudulent. Ah, the tale of identity theft, a shadowy specter lurking in the corners of our digital lives. It is an act that defies the very essence of justice. As the words echoed in the air, they struck with the force of a punch and detonated like a bomb, leaving a profound impact in their wake. Once upon a time, in a world where trust was a precious commodity, there lurked a shadowy figure known only as fraud. This elusive character wove intricate tales, ensnaring the unsuspecting in a web of deceit, leaving behind whispers of betrayal and shattered dreams. In a world where shadows lurk and secrets are whispered, there exists a dark tale of identity theft. It was more than mere family drama. It was more than a mere misunderstanding. In the shadows of society, where whispers of mischief linger, there exist tales of transgressions that stir the heart and ignite the imagination. These are the stories of crimes, woven into the fabric of human experience, each one a chapter in the grand narrative of life. Not a single tear fell from my eyes. In that moment, I found my calm amidst the storm. With a gentle lean, I inquired about the one question that held all the weight in that moment. What steps can I take to mend this situation? As the clock ticked on, Mr. Warner wove a tale of strategy and vision, meticulously laying out the plan before his eager audience over the span of 2 hours. It is time to take a step forward and share your story with the guardians of the law. A police report awaits your words, ready to capture the essence of what has transpired. It is essential to reach out to the bank with a formal written notice, expressing your intent to dispute the loan. Commence the journey to have my name officially erased. seek redress for the wrongs endured. It would not be a swift journey. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, and it would not be an easy journey. And it would surely shatter the delicate threads that still connected me to my family. Yet it held the promise of safeguarding my future. As I sat there, pen in hand and eyes wide with curiosity, a revelation began to unfold before me. It was never my intention to bring this upon them. In that moment, I realized it was a journey I embarked upon for my own sake. They had woven their destinies with the threads of their choices. In that moment, I found myself on a new path, making choices that felt fresh and different. As the final words of the meeting hung in the air, Mr. Warner extended his hand, gripping mine with a firm and resolute shake, sealing the moment with a sense of purpose. "You are on the right path, dear Emily," he proclaimed with a reassuring smile. "Do not allow the weight of guilt to render you fragile." With a gentle motion, I slipped his card into the depths of my wallet and departed from the cozy confines of the cafe, emerging into the glaring, relentless embrace of the sunlight. Beyond the threshold, the world continued its dance. Amidst the gathering, a chorus of laughter erupted, filling the air with joy. In the bustling city, the sound of cars honking filled the air, a symphony of urgency and life. On a sunlit sidewalk, a mother gently chided her little one, her voice laced with warmth and affection. In that moment, as I stood there, a profound truth dawned upon me. My life, too, could embark on a new journey. In their absence, the journey would surely become a daunting one. Yet it would belong to me. And in that moment, for the very first time, it felt like it was enough. In the dimly lit police station, a subtle aroma lingered in the air, a blend of aged coffee and a hint of something metallic, reminiscent of tired filing cabinets that had seen better days. As I stood at the counter, a curious sense of detachment washed over me, like a distant observer in my own story, while I recounted to the officer the unsettling tale of my identity theft. As he inquired about the particulars, I presented to him the hefty file that Mr. Warner had so diligently assisted me in assembling. Amidst the chaos, there lay a collection of documents, each telling a story of its own, timelines that marked the passage of time, copies of my ID that held my identity, and the fraudulent loan papers that whispered secrets of deception. As the officer turned the pages, a fleeting expression danced across his face, hinting at a story untold. In the quiet moments of life, there comes a time when one is seen, truly seen, for who they are and what they have accomplished. It is in this recognition that the heart swells with pride and the spirit dances with joy as the world acknowledges the journey taken and the battles fought. A moment, a glance, a word of appreciation. These are the treasures that illuminate the path forward. In a moment suspended in time, a wave of disbelief washed over the crowd, leaving them in a state of stunned silence. Perhaps a flicker of indignation stirred within me. "Are you certain you wish to take this step forward?" With a soft voice, he inquired, his gaze lifting to meet mine. "If I don't," I declared with a steady voice, "they'll continue to take from me." With a solemn nod, he pressed the stamp onto the papers, sealing their fate, and then, with a flourish, he presented me with a copy of the report, as if bestowing a precious treasure. The moment had finally arrived, and it was official now. And so it was, the dominoes started to tumble, cascading down with a swiftness that surpassed even my wildest dreams. That very afternoon, I set forth on a mission, sending a certified letter to the bank, carefully enclosing the police report and a formal notice of dispute within its folds. Once upon a time, I found myself at the post office counter, where the pen quivered ever so slightly in my grasp as I inscribed my name on the final form. Not born of fear. From the heavy burden of conclusion. Once this path was chosen, there would be no turning back. In the days that followed, an unsettling hush enveloped everything, as if the world held its breath, waiting for something to unfold. In a moment of silence, I found myself reflecting on the fact that I had not reached out to my parents. Jessica did not receive a call from me. Alas, I chose not to offer them a word of caution. Instead, I waited. On the third day, as the sun began to dip below the horizon, my mother appeared at my doorstep, a surprise visitor in the twilight. Through the glass pane, I beheld her figure, poised and waiting, before I took the step to open the door. In that moment, she appeared a whirlwind of chaos, her hair a tangled mess, her eyes blazing with fury, yet deep within, a flicker of fear danced like a shadow, hidden beneath the surface. As I turned the handle and the door creaked open, I found myself hesitating, choosing not to beckon her in. Without so much as a word of greeting, she dove right in. "How could you possibly call upon the authorities in this matter? Have you any idea of the impact your actions have had on this family?" I sat in silence, allowing her words to ricochet off me like playful rubber bullets, each one leaving a mark yet failing to penetrate my thoughts. "I placed my faith in your understanding," she hissed, her voice laced with disappointment. In a moment of uncertainty, Jessica found herself in need of assistance. In the heart of every tale, there lies a bond unbreakable, a connection that weaves through the fabric of life. Family, like the roots of an ancient tree, stands steadfast, supporting one another through the storms and sunshine alike. Together, they navigate the winding paths of their journey, united in love and loyalty. I leaned in, my head tilting ever so slightly as I took in the details of her presence. "No," I whispered gently. "Once upon a time, a family gathered together, their hearts filled with curiosity and concern, seeking answers to the questions that lingered in the air. They refrained from taking what isn't theirs." Her cheeks flushed with a vibrant hue, and her lips moved in a frantic dance, reminiscent of a fish gasping for air. In a moment of despair, her voice broke through the silence. "You've ruined everything," she cried out, the weight of her words hanging heavy in the air. A chuckle danced on the tip of my tongue, yet I held it back. Instead, I maintained a steady tone, my words sharp and precise, yet cloaked in a softness that belied their edge. "Nothing was ruined by my hand." In a moment of clarity, I decided to cease the endless cycle of tidying up after your chaos. And so, in a moment heavy with unspoken thoughts, I gently closed the door behind me. In that moment, a hush fell over the world, for it was the most powerful sound I had ever conjured, the gentle click as the latch secured its hold. There I stood, on the other side, my heart racing, yet not from a sense of regret. From the moment it was set free. As the night deepened, Jessica's voice sought me out through the phone's ring. There lay a tale of 12 missed calls, each one a whisper of urgency echoing in the silence. In the depths of despair, a series of frantic and furious messages echoed through the silence. With a swift motion, I cast them aside, never giving them a chance to be heard. In the span of a week, the bank's reply arrived, bringing with it a sense of anticipation and resolution. In a turn of events, they chose to suspend the loan, awaiting the outcome of a thorough investigation, and extended a heartfelt apology for their part in the troubling saga. Though the legal journey stretched ahead like a winding road, I had set my feet upon the path, taking those crucial first steps. Each step taken with purpose. And what of my family? In a realm woven with deceit and a sense of unwarranted privilege, the very foundations began to tremble and fracture at last. There was no need for my voice to rise in a frantic cry. There was no battle to be won. All I needed to do was remain motionless, allowing the truth to weave its magic. And in that moment, it felt as if the sweetness of life had been magnified, wrapping around us like a warm embrace. As the days turned into weeks, a heavy silence enveloped me, wrapping around my very being like a dense fog. The days of unexpected arrivals have come to an end. The days of frantic calls have come to an end. Gone are the days of receiving guilt-laden messages from family urging me to simply let go and move on. It felt as though I had been quietly removed from the tapestry of our family, absent from the lively exchanges of the group chat, the joyous holiday plans, and the meticulously crafted facade of togetherness they presented to the world. In the beginning, the weight of solitude pressed down like a heavy fog, wrapping around the heart and mind, making each breath feel like a struggle. In the shadows of betrayal, where wounds run deep, there lingers a tender part of you, the child within, yearning for the warmth of approval. It aches profoundly when the bonds that once held you close finally unravel. Yet, as time passed, a different feeling began to blossom within me. In the stillness of the moment, there lies a gentle whisper of tranquility, a soft embrace that wraps around the heart and soothes the restless spirit. It is a serene state where worries fade like shadows at dusk and harmony reigns supreme, inviting all to breathe deeply and find solace in the quietude of existence. True tranquility. In a moment of reflection, I discovered that I was once again embracing the activities I had long set aside, like forgotten treasures waiting to be rediscovered. On those delightful Saturdays, I would meander through the vibrant farmers' markets, where the air was filled with the sweet scent of fresh produce. There, amidst the colorful stalls, I would select the most radiant sunflowers to grace my kitchen table, bringing a touch of sunshine into my home. In the early hours of the day, I embarked on adventures along the local trails, inhaling the crisp morning air and sensing the solid ground supporting my every step. On a whim, I found myself stepping into a pottery class, my hands awkward yet eager, and with each creation I molded from the unformed clay, my spirit soared a little higher. In the heart of every broken thing lies a whisper of beauty, a promise of renewal that beckons to be embraced. Rebuilding, with its tender hands, weaves together the fragments of what once was, crafting a tapestry of hope and resilience. Not with a grand flourish or a booming voice, but softly, bit by delicate bit. In the shadows, the legal process unfolded, weaving its intricate tale. In the midst of my day, I found myself weaving through a tapestry of correspondence with Mr. Warner, diligently signing affidavits and gathering the latest whispers about the slow unwinding of the loan's tale. Every time my eyes fell upon an official letter bearing my name, Emily Parker, a wave of realization washed over me, whispering that this name, indeed, belongs to me. This life is my own to weave and wander. It was not a treasure bestowed upon me by my parents. It is not a duty I owe to my sister. It belongs to me. It was a curious revelation, one that stirred within me like a whisper in the night. I discovered, beneath the surface of my emotions, that the thirst for revenge I had once imagined was not the fire I truly sought. It pained me deeply to think of Jessica facing the prospect of losing it all. It was a heavy burden on my heart, for I wished to shield my parents from the harsh glare of public shame. Once upon a time, there was a longing for space, a desire to create a chasm between oneself and the world around. In the vast expanse of existence, there lies a treasure known as freedom, a gift that dances in the hearts of those who dare to seek it. It whispers promises of uncharted paths and the sweet embrace of choice, inviting souls to embark on a journey where the spirit can soar unbound, painting the skies with dreams yet to be realized. Imagine a life where the burdens of unchosen debts no longer shadow your every step, a chance to walk freely, unencumbered by the invisible chains of obligation. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, I found myself perched on the balcony of my modest apartment. With a warm cup of tea cradled in my hands, I gazed out at the city, where the lights began to twinkle like stars awakening from their slumber. In the quiet corners of my mind, I found myself reflecting on the girl I once was. There was a soul who, gripped by the shadows of fear, found themselves uttering yes time and again. She stood resolute, absorbing each blow as if it were her solemn duty. As I pondered, a vision of the woman I was evolving into danced in my mind. In the stillness, there lies a strength, unwavering and resolute, a power that no cacophony of voices could ever hope to match. As the gentle breeze danced through the air, It playfully tugged at the edge of the well-worn throw blanket that enveloped my shoulders. With a gentle smile, I leaned into the shadows, letting the long-awaited words slip from my lips, words I had yearned to embrace for what felt like an eternity. To them, I am bound by no obligation. Not a flicker of anger. Only tales to tell. Forgiveness seemed a distant star on their timeline, forever out of reach. In that moment, there was nothing but silence. And in that stillness, I discovered the essence of who I truly am. In the stillness of the moment, the final confrontation unfolded, quiet yet profound. It was neither a clash of voices nor a heartfelt reconciliation. It was a moment like any other, unremarkable and simple, yet it held a quiet significance all its own. On a serene Sunday afternoon, nearly a year had passed since the beginning of it all. As I returned from the pottery fair, my arms brimming with the treasures of handmade mugs and bowls, my gaze fell upon a curious sight. There stood my parents and Jessica, a trio caught in an awkward tableau just outside my apartment building, their expressions a mix of anticipation and uncertainty. In that moment, they appeared diminished, as if the world around them had shifted, casting them in a new light. Once, Jessica's hair flowed like a silken river, but now it lay in disarray, a wild testament to the chaos of her day. Her eyes flitted about, filled with a restless energy, as if seeking refuge from the unseen shadows that danced around her. With a grip so fierce that her knuckles turned a ghostly white, my mother held her purse, as if it contained the very essence of her being. And there stood my father, the very man who had once thundered that family was built on loyalty, yet he could not bear to meet my eyes. In the midst of turmoil, they found themselves on the brink of losing it all. Once the bank's investigation began, it set off a chain reaction of events, each more surprising than the last. Once upon a time, in a world of financial dreams and burdens, Jessica found herself facing a daunting reality. Her loan had defaulted. Once, there stood a house that filled her heart with pride, but alas, the winds of fate turned, and it was taken from her grasp. And in that moment, the carefully constructed facade of control began to shatter, like glass under the weight of an unseen force. As I stood on the sidewalk, the golden rays of the late afternoon sun stretched out, weaving long shadows that danced around us. It was as if they had caught a glimpse of the transformation within me, for in that moment, a remarkable silence fell upon them. No longer did they issue commands or seek justifications. Instead, they simply observed, as if recognizing the shift that had taken place. With voices trembling and eyes wide with desperation, they implored. "Emily," my mother began, her voice quivering like a leaf in the wind. "In the course of our journey, we stumbled upon a misstep. Yet, through it all, we remain bound by the ties of family." With a hesitant step, Jessica advanced, her voice trembling with urgency and longing. "Once upon a time, there came a moment when a gentle voice called out, seeking assistance, if only for a fleeting moment. We implore you, do not forsake us." Within me, the flames of anger had long since extinguished. There is no urgent desire to strike back or inflict pain upon them. In the stillness of the moment, there lies a profound and tranquil assurance. With a gentle sigh, I placed my bags upon the ground and straightened my posture, feeling the weight of the world lift ever so slightly. As I gazed upon each of their faces, I saw a tapestry woven with threads of fear, regret, and the poignant understanding that I had drifted away from their world. They had not arrived out of love for me. Once more, they had arrived at my doorstep, driven by a desire for something I could provide. And in this moment, there would be nothing left to claim. With a steady and clear voice, I expressed my hope that one day you would come to understand the true essence of family. Yet it is not a treasure that can be pilfered, nor a mask that can be donned at will, nor a plea that can be made in moments of convenience. As I grasped my bags once more, the heft of them settled into my palms, a tangible reminder of the journey ahead. And as I spoke those words, a sense of liberation washed over me, for I had finally broken the chains that bound me, and I vowed never to return. As the moment unfolded, their expressions twisted in dismay. My mother's lips parted in a silent plea, while Jessica's eyes shimmered with the weight of unshed tears. Yet I found myself unable to linger, my curiosity overshadowed by an urgent need to move forward, leaving their words hanging in the air behind me. With a decisive step, I turned and strode past them, my gaze fixed ahead, never once glancing back. As I approached the stairs leading to my apartment, I took a brief pause, feeling the gentle afternoon breeze playfully tousling my hair. In a hushed tone, I spoke softly, not for their ears, but for my own heart to hear. In moments of silence, when one chooses to turn their back, it speaks volumes that words could never convey. With each deliberate step up the stairs, I felt the weight of my past begin to lift, leaving behind the fragments of what had once shattered my spirit. Before me lay a horizon filled with promise, a life that was at last, in all its splendor, truly my own.